because there's someone doing their
Okay,
their test.
Okay, chapter 1 test review. Okay, these will be mixed up from what they're gonna end up on the test, but you have problems like them with similar numbers. Okay, here's a problem that says, an assistant receives a 10% raise. Remember something like that on your problems? And this brings the salary to $45,890. Okay, so what was it before the raise? Okay, that looks familiar.
Yeah.
Okay, so after the raise, the person is now getting 110%, the 100% they used to get plus a 10% raise.
Okay.
So now they're getting 110% of their old salary is their new salary. Makes sense, right? 110% of the old one's the new one. This right here is their new salary. Okay? And you can either turn this into a decimal and do it that way, or you can do the is over of equals percent over 100, do it that way. This is your is. The of is the old. Equals 110 over 100. Oops. So you can multiply and divide, and that will give it to you. Or you could say this as a decimal is 1.10 of is times is equal. Okay, so you can either do it this way or this way. And if you do it this way, you would divide by 1.10, 1.10. So one or the other, whichever way you like the best.
The is over the of.
This way you like better?
Yeah.
Okay, so multiply that, divide by that, and tell me what you get. And somebody out, Vernon, I've seen, he's been doing it this way.
I like the bottom one, yeah.
So
Yeah,
do that.
that's what I like too.
Yeah, because that's the way your book told you, right? Either way, you should get the same thing. 45,890.
41,718.
So the old salary, 41,718, and then it kept repeating, right?
Yeah, 181818.
But it says to the nearest dollar. What does it mean by the nearest dollar?
You can round off that's a decimal.
That means the nearest
Yes.
one, right? The
Mhm.
nearest $1.
That'd be 41719, 41.
Why not? Yeah, it's followed by 1, so it's
I'm sorry, yeah.
41718.
Somebody, yeah.
Yeah, that's the old salary. Okay, so you do the is over percent over 100, or you can do it this way. Turn this into a decimal, times is of, is equal, and then you just divide by 1.10. Okay? That's that problem. Let's do another problem here now. Let's solve a compound inequality. Solve this. Okay, oops, going the wrong way. Okay, if you were going to solve that, what would you do first?
You add a 1.
Add 1. But we're not doing it only to 2 places, we're doing it to 3. Okay, so we have -6 plus 1, -5. Then we have 4x, 0 plus 1 is 1. And then what do you do? To solve for x?
Divide by 4.
Divide by 4. Now we have the x by itself right here. And we didn't divide by negative, so this stays the same way, right? You don't need to flip it or anything. So that is your compound inequality solved. Any steps there you need to ask questions about? Okay. Okay, let's solve a formula for one of the letters. Remember the capital or not capital, the case, remember that matters. Okay, solve this for F. Okay, we could get rid of this fraction first if you'd like. I like to get rid of fractions first, unless there's a plus or minus here, we could have got rid of it. So let's multiply both sides by F. Okay, that will get rid of this F right here. So we have DF or FD, it doesn't matter. Okay, it's almost by itself, right? How are we going to get it by itself?
Divide by D.
Right. And you can put it under the whole thing or just put it over here, either one. So put the whole thing over D or just the E over D. So basically what happened when we solved this is the F and the D just switched sides. The F went over here, the D went down here. We just switched places. And that's your answer. So it looks a lot like the original problem, except these two switched. Okay?
The D just stays under the E.
Yeah, because actually, this problem, it has where you can pick which one. And they don't have one where the whole thing is over it, so you would pick the one that has it down there. Okay, let's solve a compound inequality. It has a 4. Okay. We have 4x minus 9 is greater than negative 21. Or 5x plus 8 is less than or equal to 33. Do you remember if the or is a intersection or a union? Do you remember?
It's a union, it's everything.
It's a union, because when you get married, you put things in one name or the other, right? It's a
And
union.
is the other one.
And is the intersection, right? Okay, so let's solve this one first. What are we going to do first here?
Plus 9?
Add, right, that's 9. So we have 4x is greater than what?
Negative 12.
Yeah, negative 12. And then what do we do to solve for x?
Divide by 4.
Divide by 4.
Negative 3.
And this doesn't change directions, right? It's divided by positive, so it doesn't change directions. So you have negative 3 or the union. Okay, on this side, let's solve for x. What are we going to do first?
Right, negative 8.
Subtract 8 to get the x alone over here. 33 minus 8. I should have done this in green. 33 minus 8 is what?
25.
25. And then,
Divide by 5.
divide by 5. We didn't divide by negative, so we don't flip the sign. We leave it the same direction.
X is 5.
We leave it the same equal, right? 5. Okay, so let's put that on the number line. Remember, it's going to include everything. So from the 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, from the 5, we're going to go back this way forever, right? So it's going to definitely include that, because it includes everything. And from the negative 3, it's going to go this way. From this, we're going all the way to the end that way. So if we include everything that's on both lines, we're going all the way here to all the way there, right? So what would it be? Empty, less than 5, all real numbers, or greater than negative 3?
Greater than negative 10.
Just greater than negative 3?
All real numbers.
All reals,
All real
everything,
numbers, yeah.
because it goes all the way from here, all the way to there. So this is all real numbers. And it didn't ask you the interval notation, so you don't have to put the negative in infinity
Oh.
and positive.
That's what I was thinking. Oops, yeah.
Okay, so let's do an equation with pressure. Here we have P equals 1 plus D over 33. This is the pressure in ATMs. This D is the depth in feet. Okay? And it wants to know for what depths, so you're looking for D, for what D's is the pressure at least 5 and at most 7. So we've got a 5 and a 7. Okay, to solve this, you need to look for D, so this is the part we're going to use, that we're going to be solving. We're going to put that in the middle. Okay, we're going to have the at least and at most. Okay, let's put the at most part, the 7 part here. Is at most, does that mean it can be 7? It can be 7, so it can be equal to 7. Can it be more than 7? So it's not greater. So it's less than or equal to 7. The most it could be a 7. Okay? Now the 5 is going to go over here.
And that's just
Can it
gonna
be 5?
Yeah,
It
but
can
not
be.
greater, so it's not gonna have a line in the beginning.
It'll go like that. It can be greater but not less.
What does it say,
At least 5.
Oh, I'm sorry,
It can't be
okay.
less. If you read backwards,
Okay,
you would read that backwards. You say it's 5 or more.
okay.
Greater than or equal to 5. So it's between 5 and 7. Now, the first thing you gotta do to solve this is get rid of the plus or minus part, right? So what are you gonna do
You
to
minus
get rid of
1.
this 1 right here? How do we get rid of 1?
-1.
Minus 1. Okay, so 5 minus 1 leaves us 4. That's gone. 7 minus 1 is 6. Okay, to solve for D, what do we do to solve for D? It's to divide it.
Multiply by 33.
Multiply 33. 3 times 4.
132.
What is it?
132.
132?
Uh-huh.
That's gone, so that's a D. 6 times 33?
190.
6 times
98.
33?
198.
198.
Did I say 90?
Yeah.
Let me be quiet, I'm gonna just pay attention.
You saw 3s.
Fine.
3s. So that would be what you fill in. They have blanks here and here. You don't even have to know the greater less than parts. It's already in there for you. So you just have to put these numbers in there. No rounding or anything, you just put the problem in there. The answer, sorry. Okay. Number 6 on mine, it won't be 6 on yours. Is it an inequality or an equation? That's a number sentence that says the expression on either side equals of the equal sign represents the same number. If it has an equal sign, is it an equation or an inequality?
Inequality. There's an equal sign.
An equal.
Sign represents the same number.
An equal is an equation. An inequality will have a greater or less than somewhere. Inequality is not equal. Equation is equal. Okay? Okay. Solve using the principles together. Mostly what it's saying is solve. This says solve using the principles together. It gives you this problem. You see this, you know you're just going to be solving. What do you do first to solve this thing?
You distribute the minus through.
Right. Don't multiply the 7y. It's not touching, right?
Yeah, I always
7y
make
does
that
not.
mistake.
Everybody was making that mistake. Well, at least 2 or 3 of you were. Bring the 7y down, minus 2y, and then what?
It'll be
Minus 19? Positive 19.
Positive 19.
Right, plus 19 equals 59. Okay, now what do you do with this?
Combine like
Minus
terms.
19.
Combine like terms,
Oh, very cool.
5y.
plus 19 is 59. And now what do we do, Vernon?
Oh, minus, subtract 19
Subtract 19
on both sides.
on both sides. So we still have 5y. 40 is 40. And then
5.
divide by 5. So it's just 8. So that's your solution. No questions? Okay. Solve then graph. Okay, what are you going to do to solve that?
You want that 3? I mean, minus 3.
Minus 3. Okay.
Negative 19.
So 8's by itself. Negative 19. And what's that going to look like on a graph?
Don't, we have to change it.
Why? You subtract.
Oh, never mind.
Right.
I'm thinking of dividing, I'm sorry. I'm gonna be quiet.
Only if you have a big
Subtract.
But
You can
negatives, yeah.
subtract, okay. Negative 19 will be somewhere over here, right?
I don't know, right?
Negative 20?
I don't know anymore.
Okay, so it's somewhere over here, the positives are somewhere over there, okay? So over here, which direction are we gonna be going?
That one.
To the left.
Make that into an arrow, this way, all the way to the end. And it has a line under it, so
Will be a bracket.
it's a line, it's a bracket. So we go from here all the way to here, and there's a parenthesis. And it does not ask for interval notation, so all you gotta do is pick the right graph. Which one starts at 19? See, we have a bracket here and a parenthesis there. Oh, it doesn't even have a parenthesis, it has an arrow.
So
D.
D, right.
Meaning
I'm shocked.
negative infinity to negative 19.
Yes, if you had to do interval notation, you would do negative infinity up to 19. But it doesn't ask for the interval notation, so. Your homework was harder than the test, because it would do the graph and then it would ask for interval. Okay, solve this. What's the solution to this? What can X be?
Positive or negative? 14.
Positive and negative, and I don't really think it matters which order. It'll probably take it either way, one way or the other. If you just put one of them, it's gonna count it wrong though. Or maybe half wrong. I'm not positive what it'll do. Okay, body mass index. And we get a new paper. Body mass index is 703 times the weight, right? Divided by height squared. And the height is in inches, right? The I is your BMI, your body mass index. Okay, so what is the weight if a person's height is 80 inches and you want to keep the BMI below 21? Okay, so put the 21 for body mass index. And you could just set it for equal right now, and just know that you want to keep it below whatever the weight ends up being here.
And then you put 703 W, and then you put 80 on the times under 80.
80,
H.
8 is H,
I mean 80 by 2, I'm sorry.
80 squared.
squared.
Yeah.
Go ahead and take a seat. We're already at number 10.
Then you times
Okay.
80,
80 times 2,
80 times 80,
80 times 80, right?
6,400.
So that's
Goes underneath,
6,400.
yeah.
Okay, to solve for W,
And then I'm trying to remember,
you want to get the W by itself, so this is divided by 6,400. So multiply both sides by 6,400, right?
yeah,
Okay, so if we times 6,400 here and here, that'll get rid of it there, right? 6,400 times 21,
134, 400.
134, 400 equals 703W. And then, David, what would you do next?
Divide 703.
By 703. So if we divide that by 703,
191.
yeah. And it wants us to round to 1 decimal place. So that means you want to leave 1 decimal there, that's a 10th, right? So what's the weight?
191.
That's not 1 decimal place.
What?
It says to do it to 1 decimal place, 191 what?
0.2.
Point
One,
one.
put point. The 8 makes it go up,
Oh,
Two.
okay. Well,
yeah.
Well, then I would get that wrong. Let's see.
Well, make sure if you see that, make sure to leave 1 decimal place there. Okay? So the problem said that you want to keep a person at 80 inches, you want to keep the body mass index below 21. This is the weight where it's 21 exactly, or kind of exactly, okay? So this would make the body mass index 21, so the weight needs to be below that, right? Because if it's higher than that, the BMI goes up too. So when you put your answer in there, don't put the equals, because it's not going to be equal to that. So what weights will keep it below 21? There's a lot of weights that'll keep it below. You want the weight of greater or less than? You can't see it very good, sorry. So you gotta make sure you put it in the right place here too. Keeping it below 21, you wanna put less than, right? And you wanna do 1 decimal place, like it said. Okay, so you'll keep it, the weights should be below 191.2. Okay? Okay, next problem. Solve this one. Absolute value 9x minus 4 equals 32. First step in solving that,
Add the 4, go 6.
add 4. You gotta get that absolute value by itself, right?
Yep.
Before you do anything. 32 plus 4? 36. Now how do you solve it when we have an absolute value? Vernon, do you remember what we do?
Are you, 9x?
You put the positive and then the negative on the other side.
Positive,
Oh, yeah.
9x is the
Negative
negative.
36, something like that.
Right.
You divide, you solve for each side for negative and
So
positive.
both sides, right?
You know, you x, negative 4,
Divide
negative,
by-
and 4, negative 4, and 4.
So there's 2 answers. It'll give you the solution set and you just have to put the negative and positive in there. And I don't think it matters which order it's in. If it counts it wrong because it's the wrong order, let me know.
I did it yesterday both ways and it took
And it
it.
took it both ways? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it probably won't matter. Okay, young rule for determining a child's medicine dosage is given by this formula. C equals AD over A plus 12. C is your child's dosage, right? That's the child's dosage. A is age. And D is the usual adult dosage, right? Somebody want to shut that door, please? Okay. So, what is the child's dosage if it's a 2-year-old child, 2 years old, and the usual dosage is 270 milligrams? Okay, so what is the 2-year-old part?
The C equals,
This is the C? The 2?
A. That's the A.
A is
No,
the
no.
age.
okay.
The age, so this is the A. What's 270?
The dosage.
The D. This is your dosage, the usual dosage. What we're looking for is the child's dosage. So you leave the C there. And the A, we said was 2. The D is 270. And then we have the A, don't leave the A there, make sure and put it in both of these places, not just one of them. You don't want an A and a C. You just need one unknown. So we have 270 times 2 is 540, right? 2 plus 12,
14.
14.
14. So 540 divided by 14,
38.57.
38.5714.
286.
This is round to the nearest milligram. The nearest milligram means the nearest 10, 1, 10, 20, what does that mean? If you're rounding it to the nearest milligram. The nearest one. The nearest 1 milligram, okay? So if it says round to the nearest milligram, look at that one and you'll say
39.
39 milligrams. Okay. And it also wants to solve this formula that was given to you, which does not change. It's going to be the same on every one of them. Solve this for D. How are we going to do that? How are we going to get that by itself? Okay, first get rid of the fraction part. Okay,
Multiply.
so you multiply by a plus 12. So I would put it in parentheses to put it over here so it doesn't look like just the 12 is multiplied. Okay, that got rid of the bottom. We have C times a plus 12. We almost have the D by itself. What do we do now? To get that D by itself.
Is it divided in 8?
Yeah, divide A. So, once you solve it, you don't have to put all that in, you have to pick the right one. So, look at these, which one looks right? Get it bigger where you can see it better, which one looks right? Anybody?
Oh,
This one, right? See. Would you want to take your test instead of listening to this?
I want to be 100% sure when I do a test.
You want what to do?
Can I do it now? Then if I don't like it, I can do it again. Yeah, I can do it.
But since we're doing this, you need to do it next door. Or
That's my question. Whichever we want.
go ahead and get one of these laptops and go over here next door, and I'll come put the password in for you
There's the laptops.
in this card.
Hold on.
Solve the following using various principles. You go ahead and
Can I take
open it
some?
up and
Can I take some note paper?
it's not yours. Sorry, guys.
My booster.
And go there and you'll see what the username and password is. First thing, you're going to multiply 2/3 through parentheses. Is the password. Okay, 2/3 times 5/8. 10 over 24. We'll go ahead and put that and we'll just reduce it later. And then 2/3 times 2. 2 times 2 is 4 over 3, right?
Let's go to the other one.
Yeah, go ahead and do it now and then I'll go ahead and get into my math lab and I'll type it in and you can go there to do it. This does not get multiplied, right? Just leave it there. Okay? We could try to combine these, but now would be a good time to get rid of parentheses, get rid of fractions. So what is your common denominator here? 24. If we multiply by 24, every single one of these bottom ones will cancel. Okay? So this one's gone, leaving us 10. The 3 and the 24, both divide by 3, divide by 3, divide by 3. That leaves us with 8 times 4, 32, and a t. Here the 8 and the 24 divide by 8. 5 times 3 is 15. Here the 8 and 24 divide by 8. 3 times 3 is 9. Everybody follow that okay? Okay, now that's going to be a lot easier to solve, right? Okay, so on this side, you can combine like terms, 10 minus 15,
-5.
-5. And this doesn't combine with anything yet. Oops, sorry. And to both sides, what are we going to do to solve for t?
Add 5.
Add 5. So we have 32t. 9 plus 5? 14. And what do we do to solve for t?
Divide by 32.
Divide by 32. And that's our answer, except we can reduce it. Always reduce fractions. What can we divide by to reduce it? 2 for sure. I don't think you can do anything bigger. Okay, so we got 7. What would the bottom be? Divide by 2.
16.
That won't reduce. So there's your answer. Okay? Questions over that one? Okay. And the distance between -7 and -81. Okay, remember you do the absolute value of the first one minus the second one. So you have -7 plus 81. So you're really just subtracting the numbers, right? 81 subtract 7. Anybody? 74? Okay. So it's 74 apart. Okay, 15, it doesn't matter what number we're at. Okay, Fred swims at a speed, so that's her rate, right? The speed of 2.2 kilometers per hour. You can just go straight into mymathlab.com. Okay, so Fran goes,
Kilometers?
do what?
Does that say kilometers?
Yeah,
Okay,
kilometers per hour.
okay.
Okay, and the lazy river flows at a speed of 0.8. So this is the lazy river. I don't really know if that's fast or slow, but I'm assuming it's slow. 0.8 kilometers per hour. How long will it take her? So how long will it take her to go upstream?
But that one you subtract, right? And the other one?
Yeah, upstream, you're going against the
Current.
current, right? So you're going to subtract it, right? So So she's going this many miles upstream. Okay, remember distance is rate times time. Okay, we know the distance, right? Isn't this our distance?
Yeah.
Okay. The rate is the part that we need to do hers, oops, sorry, and subtract the current, right? Because it's upstream, so you subtract it. So you do 2.2 minus 0.8. So how fast is she basically getting to travel? Subtract it.
1.4?
Okay, 1.4. So against the current, that makes her go 1.4 kilometers per hour. So solve for the time, because it wants to know how long. Divide by 1.4, right? Go in there. You can leave your bag there, it'll be safe. Take your drink. Okay, so what did you get when you divide by 1.4?
2.
Exactly 2? So 2 what? What is 2?
2 hours.
Yeah, 2 is time, so 2 hours, right? Okay, so that's how long it'll take her. 2 hours. Okay, write interval notation for this. We have a set of x such that x falls in there. Okay, what works best for me is sticking it on a number line. Okay, so from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. So from the 8, x needs to be greater, right? So from here, it's going to be parentheses going this way. Greater than 8. And now, to read that part, if you turned it around, wait, I already turned it around, sorry. It's this way, so if you turned it around, it would be less than -2, right? So from -2, you go back. Is it equal? No, so it's in parentheses. So that one reads from left to right. You start at the -8, and you go to the -2. There's your interval notation. Now you're gonna just pick the right answer. Okay. The next problem. The watt of a number is its distance from 0 on the number line. And you have 2 choices. What is the distance from 0 on the number line? Is it the opposite or is it the absolute value? Absolute value.
Absolute value.
Absolute value is its distance from 0. Okay. Solve and graph. I don't have enough room. Go to a new page. We're going to solve and graph one that says and. This one, less than 3. What does and? Does that mean the union or the intersection?
Intersection.
The intersection. So that means what they have in common, right? Not everything thrown together. That's what they have in common. Okay, so starting on this side, What are we gonna do to start solving that?
Minus one.
Subtract what? So we have -6. What about here? To solve?
Divide by 2.
Divide by 2. That's gonna give you -3.
And do we leave this?
Yeah, leave it that way,
Right.
and then X.
If you want to turn it around so that X is on this side, then what do?
You change them.
Switch it to the other way. Okay. Which graphs as -3 going that way, right?
Yes.
Okay. So let's do this part. What do you do to solve this one? Subtract
Minus 1.
Again, right?
And that gives you 2.
Right.
And then you're gonna divide by 2, and then that gives you 1. X is, what's that, less than?
Less than.
1.
Okay, so.
And then you graph it on there. You put parentheses.
0, 1.
You put a parenthesis.
Parentheses.
Yeah.
Going
And
that way. So what do they have in common?
they have the
That
1
part,
and
right?
the 3 in common.
They, see, this one went forever that way, this one keeps going that way.
Oh, so they have infinity, all numbers.
No,
right?
that is not in common. This one had infinity that way,
Oh,
this one had infinity that way. So that's not common to both of them. But everything in between here is common.
so
So this will be,
-3 to the 1?
but just from here, let me do it in a different color. This to there is what they have in common.
Okay.
So the graph of it is just this part right here. And it doesn't ask for interval, but you could have written that easily, right? In interval notation. And this one, it's actually looks pretty short on the graph. 'Cause it-
How many
Yes,
questions
right.
do we have? On the
I
table?
What's 25?
37 in it? Or
Okay.
25, yeah.
25%.
The practice test has about 38 or
38
37.
practice is 25.
But the test is only 25.
Okay.
Okay. Questions? You're okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay. We have the triangle. Remember how we set it up? We say these three things equals?
180.
Right. So this, and this. You don't even have to read that to see what they are because it already gave you that. So you don't even have to convert it from words into these things here. So these are you have x plus 4, and 2x minus 4. So these three things equals 180. So you have this one, and this one, plus this one, right, okay? So we have, those three need to be combined into 2, 3, 4. This and this, what? Do they equal?
Cancel out.
They're zero, so they're gone. So we have equals this.
Do that before.
Is.
Is 45?
So that's the first one, right? So that was that one. What is this? Second one. Add 4, right. And then this is what? 2 times this, 90 is,
86.
right. And to check yourself, you can make sure these three things add up to 180. Just just to make sure you did a good job. Okay? Okay, next problem, just solve this and graph it. So what do we do to solve it?
Well, minus 20.
Is what?
-13.
Okay, so in a graph, starting at here, and it has a line, so we don't know which way our bracket needs to go. It goes this way, so we'll put the bracket going that way, and it keeps going to the end. So there's your graph. We know it doesn't go back, so it's one of these. And one has a bracket, one has a parenthesis.
It's number
B.
B.
Right, that's parentheses.
I mean, letter B.
Letter B, yes.
I'm sorry, I feel dizzy. I
And
feel
number
kind of
B.
yucky right now.
Did you take medication?
I didn't take it today and because I got it late from the pharmacy, but I feel like really, I don't know, like weird kind of. And when I got up, I was off balance and
That's all right.
my eyes keep, they focus in and focus out. They focus in, they focus out, like blurry. I don't
Probably
know.
your blood.
I'm sorry, so I apologize. I'm all over the map.
It's probably your blood pressure. Okay, and what is answer to that?
727.
Right.
Oh, because
Yes.
of negative. Okay, okay, okay. Empty side.
It doesn't matter what that number is if it has that negative, right?
Okay.
Okay. Now we'll let you. Okay, everything's worth 100 points. Okay, you already have these 3 scores. So write those scores down.
95, 96, and 88.
Right. And you need this many total points in order to get an A.
And you said 88?
Yeah. So I'll write it down.
You need an 81.
So 95, 96, and 88.
Comes out to 279 minus 360 is 81.
This was 279?
88 plus, let me double check. I probably am wrong. 96.
279.
Yeah.
279.
Okay. So we subtract that from what we need. We know what the other one needs to be, right? And what was it?
81.
That's what you need in order to get an A in, because this was the points you needed to get an A. Okay, here's what to solve. And we've already got this by itself, or one side. So what do you do to solve that?
You're gonna write the same thing, but the other side's gonna be a negative 8.
Same thing. So one of them positive, one of them negative, right? So to solve this, what do we do first?
That's 7, both sides.
Right. And then
divide by 12.
by 2. And you could leave that as a,
Is that a 2?
it's a 2, it's not a 12. This is an absolute value, it's not a 12.
I'm sorry.
So on this side, same thing, we have to do the add 7 first. -8 plus 7,
-15.
no,
No, it's a
Oh.
-1.
Oh, you've done.
then divide by 2. So you have both answers. Okay? Couple more problems and we'll be done with the review. Okay. Graph this compound inequality. Less than that or greater than that.
Or
Okay,
that means
or.
everything.
Or is everything, right? So on the number line, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So from 6, are we going to put a bracket or a parenthesis here?
A parenthesis.
Parentheses.
A parenthesis, and it's going to go that way. Okay.
That's where I make my mistake. Do you know that I'm putting the parentheses all the same way?
The same direction? Yeah, see which way you're going.
Okay, okay.
Okay.
It just clicked right now.
The 2, parenthesis or bracket.
A parenthesis.
Parenthesis, and we're going that way, so the parentheses should go this direction.
Oh, how funny.
Okay, so we have this, and we have this, and everything gets included. So this whole graph, this is the graph. That and that are both on the graph. This, we do need to know how to write an interval notation. So start at the left, at the end. You can turn that into parentheses where you know what to do with it. For parentheses, what are we going to put here?
-6.
Negative,
Oh, that's
okay.
all. Infinity,
Up
-6.
to, and what do we put
You.
here?
Parentheses. 2, comma, infinity, comma, parentheses, right?
There's your interval notation.
Or 2. Okay. All right.
And of course, we have to have one of these. Remember that on your homework?
Oh, the garbage. I hate that one.
Okay.
The carpet.
You know that, okay, let's say this one is the first way. Okay, 75. Let me get a clean sheet of paper for this. It costs that no matter what. So that plus, for the first set of 200. And then, 25.6 is the charge after 200 square feet. So you're going to say, because this is in dollars, right? This is to be in dollars and cents too. Okay, 25.6 for everything, all of it, minus the 200 that you've already paid for when you paid that. So you got to put that part on there. Don't forget that part. That's what usually gets forgot, right there.
The 200.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay? And then plus, this is how much it costs, oh, 30, for every step. Okay, now we're gonna have to search down through here to see how many steps there were. If you look right here, it says there's 14 of them. Okay, so we'll go back up here, there's 14 steps. Okay? This is the total, what it ended up costing. and I didn't leave myself room to put that. Equals the total cost. So that should all be on one line, not two like I put it. Okay? So we want to know what was the total square footage, which is this X right here. Okay. So let's redo this. Let's say this was what you had to pay to begin with. This times X is right here. Now minus 25 cents times 200, 0.25 times 200 is 50. Okay? Plus $1.30 times 14 is, that's actually 18.20. It just shows us 0.2 on the calculator. And then equals this. So everybody see where all of that came from?
I got lost where
This came
1820
here.
came from.
This right here
Okay,
is that,
okay,
minus this is that.
okay.
This came from that times that,
That time, what times
the
was?
steps.
Oh, that, I'm sorry. I didn't even see the 14.
Yeah, 14 steps,
Sorry.
$1.30 times 14 steps.
Okay,
Okay, so everybody sees where everything
Yeah.
came from now?
yeah.
Okay, all of these numbers here are X's, we can combine all that together, so 75 minus 50, that'd be 25 plus 18.2, $18.20, is a total of 43.20. And then we need to bring that down. And this was positive, right? Positive 25 plus that, so that's a plus right there. Right? Everybody see that?
Yeah.
All three of these made that. Now, what are we gonna do to solve that?
Then divide by the
Divide?
0.25.
Not gonna divide yet.
You're gonna subtract?
Right. This is plus, so we're gonna subtract this first. So you have 0.25x equals is that 109.75? Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Now what do we do, Vernon?
Well, now you can divide by the.
Now we can divide by it, right? Divided by 0.25. And this gives us our total square footage right here. Any questions over any of the problems?
I think on the other one, it asked what was the total?
This
So
is-
do you do that plus the
Is
one?
the total?
That's, okay, it's not the that plus the one, plus the 200?
No.
No.
If you actually put this total in there, it'll come out where it works
To the
right.
150,
Yeah, because you've already paid for 200 right there. You paid for the first 200 with that. That basic rate is, if you have under 200, you're having it done, you still gotta have to pay 75.
Ooh,
Okay, questions, nothing?
we can use our notes?
Nope. You may not use your notes.
Just to calculate.
You can study your notes, but you may not use your notes to do the test.
Okay.
that would really be cheating.
Okay.